Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and today is Victory Monday. And in this video, I want to go over the Jets and Bengals game in depth. I made a recap video yesterday. Me and Jack were in the parking lot outside of MetLife Stadium. I was at the game. It was phenomenal. I went live right after the game as well. But in this video, we're going to dive deep into all the stats and what I took away from this victory the most, from the Jets coaching staff to Mike White, to the playmakers around Mike White, to the defense. There's so much to dive into in this game, and I'm super excited to break it down because, wow, I rewatched the game last night, and I am still blown away from the effort that this New York Jets team showed, and we go out there and defeat the #1 seed in the AFC going into this game after the Cincinnati Bengals just defeated the Baltimore Ravens a week prior. They come to MetLife Stadium. We take care of business with our backup quarterback and Mike White. Wow, what a game for the New York Jets. Before I hop into the video, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Jets Media, please make sure you smash that subscribe button. And if you want to check me out over on Instagram and Twitter, that is at NYJets_media. And if you enjoy the video, please do not forget to thumbs it up. With that being said, let's get right in. So before we get into all the stats, I want to give you guys my thoughts about this victory as a whole, man. Going into this game, we knew we were 1-5. Zach Wilson's down. Mike White is going to get his first start of his NFL career. We saw Mike White briefly against the New England Patriots last week when Zach Wilson left the game. Mike White kind of surprised me in that Patriots game. Even though he did have 2 interceptions, there were some throws that Mike White made where I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, those are some pretty good throws from Mike White. So going into this game, I'm like, all right, I'm really curious to see what type of quarterback Mike White is. And we got to give so much credit to Joe Douglas and the entire Jets coaching staff, because me included, going into this season, I don't think we were comfortable with Mike White as our quarterback #2. We all were like, I don't like the depth. We need a veteran leadership, and we got Joe Flacco in the building because of that veteran leadership that we were lacking in that quarterback room. I know Josh Johnson was that guy, but Jets fans just were not comfortable with the depth at the quarterback position going into the season. But the Jets coaching staff, and if you guys remember in training camp when the media kept asking Robert Saleh about that, he kept praising Mike White. We have all the trust in the world in Mike White. If Zach Wilson ever goes down, he's going to go out there and prove everybody wrong. And that's exactly what Mike White does. So shout out to the Jets coaching staff and the Jets front office for proving the entire Jets fan base wrong, because they were right. They believed in Mike White. They believed in his abilities to take over the offense if he had to. And that's exactly what he did. Mike White goes out there with an historic performance, breaking so many different records, throwing over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, clutch performance late in the fourth quarter as well from Mike White. I just need to start this video off by giving a lot of credit to the Jets coaching staff, not only with being right on Mike White, but going into this game with a perfect game plan. Robert Saleh is coming off a very, very bad performance last week against the New England Patriots, getting absolutely blown out. Jets fans were like, who is Robert Saleh? What kind of head coach is he? How is he going to bounce back? It felt like the entire world was collapsing for Jets fans once again, but Robert Saleh responds, giving his players a beautiful game plan, and the players executed it to perfection. Mike LaFleur goes into the press box for the first time this year, and he calls a perfect game, and the offense looked like it was on a different level. He's pulling off so many different creative plays. They ran the offense through the running backs. The offensive line played well. Wow, what a performance from the New York Jets. The entire team played out of their minds. So let's get into the individual stats, because their stats are crazy. Mike White, he finished 37 of 45 completion percentage, which was 82%, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a rating of 107.9 and averaging 9 yards per attempt. So this was just absolutely ridiculous from Mike White. I don't think any of us was expecting this from Mike White. The thing that impressed me the most about Mike White was his poise and his comfortability with the offense. He got rid of the ball where it needed to be. He's very accurate in the short intermediate passes. It felt like he's a really good fit for this system, and this is a very good sign for the Jets moving forward, that we have a guy in Mike White that we can rely on if Zach Wilson goes down with an injury. And yes, I know that now Jets fans and even like the NFL world's like, oh, what's going on with the Jets now? Is there quarterback controversy? I am not hopping on that train just yet. I love what I saw from Mike White. He has a big test on Thursday Night Football that will really make this controversy serious if he does go out there on Thursday Night Football and beat the Indianapolis Colts, and he has another really good performance. But I'm not jumping the gun and saying Mike White's our franchise quarterback right now based on one game. What I loved from Mike White in this game was he was a game manager. He knew the offense. He got rid of the ball quickly. The offensive line protected him very well. The offensive line ran the ball, helped the running backs as well. And Mike White was very accurate. And he seemed like a guy that was comfortable even in his first NFL start. He's a pocket passer that is a perfect fit for this system. And the one thing I will say, Zach Wilson being in the press box with Mike LaFleur, this is a really good opportunity for him to learn what it looks like when the system is clicking in all cylinders. Because I think we all know that Zach Wilson, the one thing that he's been struggling in so far in his rookie season is hitting those short intermediate passes. And we know Zach Wilson's so talented with his arm, but he needs to understand to have a good grasp of the offense and really replicate what Mike White did. Because as great as Mike White was yesterday, they really had a game plan where, they're only going to give him the easy throws. They're not going to put so much on Mike White. Mike LaFleur did a phenomenal job making sure they did not overcomplicate things, not say, hey, Mike White, we need you to win us the game. The system really helped Mike White so much. And what I mean by that is they did not take any shots down the field. The one shot that they did have, Elijah Moore was wide open down the field. Mike White missed it, but there's a holding penalty anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But that's my thoughts of Mike White, man. You cannot ask for a better performance for a backup quarterback. Just historic performance. Unbelievable. Now let's get into Mike Carter, because he had another historic performance for the New York Jets. The rookie running back absolutely carried this offense outside of Mike White. The offense was ran through him and Ty Johnson as well. I'll get into Ty Johnson. But Mike Carter, he finished with 77 rushing yards, 95 receiving yards. That's 172 scrimmage yards in total and 9 receptions with a touchdown. Mike Carter looks like an absolute stud. He is the future of this Jets offense. 100%. He makes guys miss in the open field. He is a guy that if you give the ball in space, I have confidence with his balance to stay upright, breaking tackles, drew people out. He's a great guy out of the backfield to receive the ball as well. He's a wide receiver basically playing the running back position in terms of him getting 9 catches. He's coming off 8 receptions as well last week against the Patriots. So Michael Carter is such a great weapon out of the backfield, and it's great to see him finally get rhythm in this offense. You got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line, especially Elijah Vera Tucker, because he and the offensive line did such a great job for Michael Carter and Mike White in particular. And then Ty Johnson, he had 15 rushing yards, 84 receiving yards, and 5 catches with a touchdown. So here are the stats from Mike Carter and Ty Johnson combined. Our 2 running backs combined for 92 rushing yards, 166 receiving yards, 258 total yards at the line of scrimmage, and 2 touchdowns. This was ridiculous. The offense was ran through our running backs. Mike White kept feeding them the ball, the checkdowns, the screen passes. It was working to perfection. Ty Johnson had a really clutch late touchdown in the 4th quarter that was unbelievable. Ty Johnson deserves a lot of credit because now we have a legit running back tandem, and they're both young for the future in Mike Carter and Ty Johnson. Now let's get into the receivers, because the receivers, it's crazy. The running backs seemed like they were carrying the offense in terms of the playmaking, but the receivers did their job as well. Jamison Crowder, he finished with 8 catches and 84 yards. The old, reliable, veteran wide receiver. He deserves a lot of credit, even though he did have a really crucial fumble where he caught it, ran for 30 yards, and they coughed up the ball. That was definitely a big mistake from Jamison Crowder, but his numbers were phenomenal. Elijah Moore, the rookie wide receiver, had his best performance of his rookie season. 6 catches on 6 targets with 67 receiving yards. He was all over the place. You can see the dynamic, explosive playmaker that we have in Elijah Moore, and it's great to see him get those targets. I know some of you guys will say, like, wait, didn't he have a target where Mike White overthrew him? Well, that didn't really count because there was a holding penalty. So even if Mike White did complete that pass to Elijah Moore for a touchdown, it would have been called back anyway. But Elijah Moore, he's been getting open. When the ball's in his hands, I think Jets fans understand what type of talent he has. So it's great to see him finally getting in rhythm. Braxton Berrios, he had 2 catches and a crazy toe drag swag touchdown. After Keelan Cole, somehow that play got called back. That was ridiculous. Keelan Cole, you deserve that touchdown. That one-handed grab was ridiculous. I watched that replay over and over again, and I still do not understand how they did not call that a touchdown. But hey, shout out to Braxton Berrios for going out there and Mike White for zipping it for a touchdown after that play. And then Tyler Kroft, he got in the end zone late in the 4th quarter after Shaq Lawson got the interception. Tyler Kroft got in the end zone, former Cincinnati Bengal. And then Denzel Mims, he got some action with Corey Davis being down, 2 catches, 30 yards, and 1 crucial drop in the end zone. And for those guys who are following me on Twitter during this game, I'm not a big sports gambler, but since I was in Jersey and I live in New York, it's legal over there. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to go on FanDuel Sportsbook and I'm going to make a same game parlay bet. I had a same game parlay where I needed Michael Carter, Jamar Chase, and Denzel Mims to all get in the end zone. Here's a screenshot of the bet. Michael Carter had his touchdown. Jamar Chase had his touchdown. All I needed was a Denzel Mims touchdown to win $2,300. And listen, guys, I am not a big bettor, so this is my first time really getting an experience of what it's like to be a sports bettor. And Denzel Mims drops the pass, and I miss out on winning that bet. It was crazy experience, but hey, I'm not too upset because the Jets got the victory. I would take the Jets victory over that money any day of the week. And then shout out to the Jets offensive line and Elijah Vera-Tucker in particular. He had so many great plays. That touchdown to Braxton Berrios is a miscommunication. He stepped up and did a really good job. And Chuma Edoga, he stepped in for George Fenton. He went down with an injury, and Chuma Edoga was the left tackle for the rest of the game. He did not have a phenomenal game by any means, but Chuma Edoga looked like a stable guy that can go in there, and he's a good guy off the bench that we can rely on for depth purposes. Hopefully George Fant's good for Thursday night, but it's good to see Chuma Edoga go out there and play well. How many times did Mike White get sacked? I don't know the exact numbers, but it might have been just one late in the game. But wow, shout out to the offensive line. They did their job opening up holes for Michael Carter and Ty Johnson, protecting Mike White. It all starts at the line of scrimmage, so do not forget about the big boys up front because they did a great job. Now pivoting to the defensive side of the ball, CJ Mosley, we cannot talk about how much he means to this team. Last week against the Patriots, we give up 50 points because CJ Mosley was not playing. I always say how important he is to this squad. His leadership, his ability to line everybody up. He is the brains of that entire Jets defense. He's another coach on the field. He had 10 total tackles. Marcus May had a good game with 5 total tackles. Shaq Lawson with a game-saving interception late in that fourth quarter. Absolutely insane. The first interception of the season for the Jets comes from Shaq Lawson, and that was his first career interception in any level. He said he never had a pick in college or in the NFL level, so shout out to Shaq Lawson because that was a play that completely changed the entire game. Shaq Lawson said the defensive line coaches were telling them they need to make a big play right now, and Shaq Lawson was the one to do that. So shout out to Shaq Lawson. That was ridiculous. Quinnen Williams had a sack, that ridiculous goal line stand when Mike White had an interception. Elijah Moore freaking channels his inner DK Metcalf, chases him down, tackles him at the 1 yard line, and that was phenomenal from Elijah Moore because then the Jets stop him at the goal line. The Bengals go for a 4th down. Quinnen Williams gets the sack. Robert Saleh was so hyped up after this play. Love to see that. And Jabari Zuniga, the Jets' 3rd-round pick last year, he was elevated off the practice squad for this game because Bryce Huff is dealing with an injury. And Jabari Zuniga looked really good in this game. He had a sack. It was a strip sack. He forced a fumble, but the Jets were not unable to recover it. But Jabari Zuniga, great to see him finally go out there and make an impact because I think a lot of Jets fans were scratching their heads about Zuniga. Is he a bust? Well, hey, he comes off the practice squad and looks this good. We got depth at that defensive line position. Sheldon Rankins also got a sack as well. And shout out to this Jets entire secondary because Bryce Hall, Brandon Echols did their thing against the hottest receiver going into this game in Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase only had 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. He was targeted 9 different times. Brandon Echols got beat on that touchdown, but outside of that play, Bryce Hall locked him down. The Jets young secondary between Michael Carter II, Bryce Hall, and Brandon Echols, they're the biggest talking point for this Jets defense. Remember, going into the season, the expectations were so low for this Jets young secondary because we're like, oh my God, what do we expect? They're exceeding everybody's expectations. Bryce Hall looks like a legit starting cornerback in this league. Brandon Echols looks like a really good cornerback in this league as well. Michael Carter II, the 2 rookies are looking phenomenal so far. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Jets coaching staff as well for putting them in the right situations to succeed, man. And wow, that's my biggest takeaways, and that's all the stats about this game, guys. I know this is a long video. I had a lot to talk about because yesterday was phenomenal. Please leave a comment down below some of your takeaways of this game and all the stats and anything that you took away from this the most. Mike White, Robert Saleh, LaFleur, Carter. There's so much to talk about with this game, so please feel free to comment down below your biggest takeaways from the game. Like the video if you guys enjoyed, and let's go Jets. Wow, that feels good. Victory Monday. Enjoy this, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.